I want to get into why brothers don't get married, right? Because I'm hearing that from my sisters, and I found this stat that from the U.S. Census, it said that not 29% of African Americans are married, compared to 48% of all Americans. So I want to go to Rotimi and then swing over to S1 and just pose the question: why do you think that Black men don't want to get married, man?
I think, we don't see in our society, we don't see a successful marriage. We don't see enough of them. So we attribute it to being a headache. We attribute it to divorce is eventually going to happen. We attribute it to being something that doesn't really last long. And so it takes kings to say, you know what, let's make love cool. Let's make a marriage cool. Let's put that in the forefront instead of the thotty life. Let's say, yo, this is my woman, this is my queen. We don't do that enough. So I think people are scared of it. I think commitment is a big thing. We don't know how to just commit to one person because fear, So I think fear runs a lot of that.
That's one. You got married at 25, brother.
Yeah. I would say, I agree with Rotimi, but I would also say just a fear of commitment, man. Like males are full of ego and pride, and one thing that contributes to that is having options and our access. That's part of our pride. So being commitment is us forfeiting that access and options that we have, and a lot of men don't want to do that.
Right. Yeah, if I'm thinking about being scared, look, man, you get scared. What about that half, man? You get married and it don't work out. She taking half, Eddie. You know what I'm saying? Then that good old child support too. And then like, what you got, Leon? You jumping in?
Let me ask you a question about that. And I know we talk about half, we joke about it and all that, but is money worth your peace of mind?
Man.
I talked to an old head that told me, he said, man, when me and my old lady, they was married for some odd time, he said, and she decided that she didn't want to be married no more, I gave her whatever she wanted to get her away from me. You know what I'm saying? Of course, all their kids was grown, that's a little bit different. But in the aspect, man, what causes peace of mind? If you miserable and stuff every day, and if you're a hustler, you're going to build some more money. It might hurt in the beginning, but your peace of mind, I don't think nothing. I can't put a price on peace of mind.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
Jeff Bezos did it. He said, here, take this check, move around. I'm good. I'm going to make some more money. You know what I'm saying? But you're not going to have me over here crazy. So
what about
he got a whole lot of money though.
Yeah.
Man.
A whole lot of money. Yeah, you got
what about social media and all this tail that's on the gram? You can't even scroll with all them options, man. Is that another reason that's holding brothers back? I think Rotimi touched on it. There's so many options, man. Sheesh.
For me personally, bro, I post a picture and I deactivate my Instagram, bro. I don't even stay on Instagram just to avoid all that.
Posted it, just you throw the thirst trap up and just dive out the way.
I don't even see the comments. I'm like, yo, Kenny, please post this nigga. I don't do none of that, bro.
That's smart. So check this. On our Father's Day episode, Killer Mike has something to say about relationships that lead to having multiple children living in different households. Check this out real quick.
Because I didn't take my biological father's advice, who told me, son, don't have children out of wedlock. My grandmother preached that to me. I ended up having 4 children out of wedlock. And what I didn't understand then is that what they were trying to protect me from was the hurt of not being with your child every day.
So Lance, given what you know personally about marriage and relationships, what you think about what Killer Mike is saying?
I mean, like I'm all about one woman having children with one woman. That's my lane. I don't want to have kids spread out all over the place. You know what I mean? Because I am the type of father I have to be in my child's life. So that's where I stand on that, bro. That's all I know.
Let me say this. I have a son in New York. I have a son in Miami. And it pains me every day to live like this, man. Like, to all the brothers that's watching, if you can get under the roof of your kids, you do not want to have them days where you are crying at the airport, having to say goodbye to your son, and your son being like, but daddy, I want to stay, and there's nothing you can do about it. We're going to keep this conversation going. We'll be right back. KIngz with Kosine on Fox Soul. back. KIngz with Kosine on Fox. So I got a quick comment that came in from Miss Ebony. She said, get a prenup if that's what you worried about. I think it's more about commitment. Dang, Ebony, that's how you feel? That's where your head is at with this? Damn. And I know it was spicy. I know you said that with your head turning like this when you said
all
it.
Caps.
But right. Let's get back to that Killer Mike comment about having to raise kids outside of the household. Leon, you got something to add?
I'm gonna tell you how strong of a statement that is and how truthful it is. Here is, I'm a father who I've always been in my children's life. One woman, like Lance, one woman. I didn't want kids everywhere. My 3 daughters are by Miss Nicole Rogers, who I've been married to for 18 years. But one day I asked my daughters, you know what I'm saying? I asked my daughters, I said, what grade would you give me as a father? And they looked at me and they were kind of hesitant. As I said, no, this is family talk. Let's keep it 100. They said B-C, and that hurt. And they told me, you know what they told me? They said, well, you're always working. We never see you. So imagine being a father in the household, you can fuck that up. You know what I'm saying? Being out of the household's gotta be painful. If being in the household, something as simple as you not being there because you're working all the time, makes your children feel a certain way. Imagine when they're not away from you and they're not around you all the time. So that was kind of like a dose of reality with me to start taking trips to the zoo with my kids when their mom takes them, to start going to the museums. Maybe I don't even like it, but just as a father, just them being around, they like having me around. And that just kind of gave me a sense like, man, I feel for the kids who have loving fathers, but because of situations between adults, they can't be together. So I know that's got to be tough.
Yeah.
Man, I could tell you as a witness, it is ridiculously rough, man. Ridiculously rough. Even thinking about being afraid to commit from an economic standpoint, right? And you know, people not getting together, being married, it's hard to build wealth. You know, how can we change this narrative, Pooh Bear? You know, because I can tell you right now, well, my lady in the household, you know what I'm saying? You take that money, put it on top of my money. The way music goes, you got sometimes when you're hot, when you low. But the fact that we together, if I'm cold, I'm still not tripping because all the bills is paid. And then when I have that crazy year and that bag run all the way up, you know what I'm saying? That's almost extra, you know what I'm saying? As opposed to people out here struggling. Pooh Bear, talk about what it is, you know, from an economic standpoint, the benefits of locking in.
Really, that was another amazing, attractive thing about my wife was the fact that, like, she's such a go-getter and she worked hard for so many years, you know, doing what she was doing outside of the music because she was in the music, but then just having a, you know, job, making a really amazing salary. It was so attractive just knowing like she never asked me for anything. And it was just proven to me that, you know, she wasn't really dating me, you know, for stability, to be financially stable. But for me, on the flip end, you know, as far as like a marriage and actually me taking those steps to really get married, I wanted to make sure that I, you know, could be there. I was financially stable. And before I thought about having a kid, I'm like, you know, I want to make sure my kids don't go through what I went through, you know, by being hungry and being homeless and all the things we went through. I was like, all right, this is what I'm not going to do. So I'm not going to get married and committed until I'm really financially at a place where, you know, I can carve out time for my family. I can carve out time and not like, you know what, I absolutely have to do this job in order to keep the bills on. So it, you know, her having her job for as many years as she did, and I, you know, I had her retire, you know, humbly bow out, you know, and I was like, you don't have to do that anymore. And she's a songwriter. I pulled her in and she wrote on a couple of songs on this new Bieber album with me and just pulled her in, you know what I mean, to my world because she's a great songwriter and a great musician. And that allowed, that even, you know, it does something to your relationship when you're able to not just make love with each other, but to actually build wealth and actually
I love that.
see my wife coming up and get, you know what I mean, doing deals with ASCAP and admin deals, all that for me is so satisfying for me just to see my wife come up, you know.
So, I love, hey man, that's powerful, man. Get that bag with the wifey, man. Grow that bag with wifey, man. That's powerful, man.
Yeah.
So